20 years ago, Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast with a force few could have imagined, forever altering the lives of millions in its path. The storm left devastation in its wake, flattening entire neighborhoods and turning once familiar streets into rivers of debris and loss. But it wasn't just buildings and streets that were destroyed. It was a test of our community's spirit, a challenge to our sense of hope and belonging. Today, we remember not only the loss, but the resilience and hope that carried us through the darkest days, when neighbors leaned on each other for comfort and strength. Over 1,800 lives were lost, each one leaving behind a story, a family, and a community forever changed. More than 1 million people were displaced, forced to leave behind their homes and memories. New Orleans was submerged beneath the floodwaters, and entire towns along the Mississippi Gulf Coast seemed to vanish overnight, their foundations left as silent reminders of what once was. But the true story of Katrina lives in the memories of those who survived, stories of fear, survival, and unexpected acts of heroism. Neighbors rescued neighbors, strangers became family, and the bonds of community grew stronger in the face of adversity. Communities found strength in unity, coming together to rebuild, to heal, and to support one another through the long recovery. As we look back, we see a Gulf Coast transformed, rebuilt, wiser, and more determined than ever to protect what we love and to honor those we lost. The lessons of Katrina are now woven into our disaster plans and our collective consciousness, shaping how we prepare for the future. The storm tried to break us, but it made us stronger, inspiring new ways to build, to protect, and to care for one another. Today, we honor the journey from tragedy to resilience, and we celebrate the enduring spirit of the Gulf Coast, unbroken, united, and always moving forward. To understand the last 2 decades, we turn to 2 leaders who helped guide the Gulf Coast's recovery. Chavis Sweatman, CEO of People's Bank in Mississippi, led with responsibility and compassion as his community faced disaster. Adrienne Broussard, then a vice president at Gulf Coast Community Bank in Louisiana, lost her home but helped rebuild her bank and her life. Their stories reveal the human cost of Katrina and the resilience required to overcome it. Both saw firsthand how the flow of money and hope could keep a community alive. They led teams who, despite losing everything, showed up to help others. Chavis and Adrienne are more than bankers. They are storytellers of survival and rebirth. Their reflections are a testament to the enduring power of community. As Katrina approached, Chavis Sweatman did everything he could to prepare his bank for the coming storm, boarding up windows, securing important documents, and reassuring his staff. The sense of unease was palpable, but he tried to remain calm for those around him. But nothing could truly prepare him or anyone for the sheer violence and unpredictability of Katrina's wrath. The winds howled, tearing through the town with a force no one had ever witnessed before. He and his family huddled together, enduring the chaos hour by hour. When the storm finally passed, they emerged to a world that was almost unrecognizable. Streets buried in debris, familiar landmarks vanished, and the air thick with uncertainty. His first mission was clear: find and account for his employees, even though roads were impassable and all communication lines were down. The sense of responsibility weighed heavily on him as he navigated the wreckage. Meanwhile, Adrienne Broussard made the difficult decision to evacuate St. Bernard Parish, watching her entire community disappear in the rearview mirror as she drove away, unsure if she would ever return. Weeks later, she returned to a home gutted by floodwaters, her family's memories and treasured belongings lost in the toxic mud. The devastation was almost too much to comprehend. The overwhelming loss was shared by everyone around her. Yet seeing neighbors face the same heartbreak sparked a new determination, a sense that together they could begin to rebuild what was lost. Both Chavis and Adrienne faced heartbreak, but also witnessed the first sparks of hope as communities came together, offering support, supplies, and a shoulder to lean on. In the ruins, a new resolve took root, a fierce determination to recover, to rebuild, and to reclaim their lives, no matter what it took or how long it would take. The journey back was painfully slow, filled with setbacks and small victories, But every step forward was fueled by a shared purpose and the belief that their community could rise again. Survival meant more than just enduring the storm. It meant finding the courage and the will to start again, to pick up the pieces, and to help others do the same. The story of Katrina is ultimately one of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, neighbors becoming heroes, strangers lending a hand, and communities refusing to give up. In the face of unimaginable disaster, the Gulf Coast found its strength, its unity, and its hope for the future. Katrina crippled the Gulf Coast's financial system overnight. Chivas Sweatman's branches were destroyed, vaults breached, and communication lost. Adrienne Broussard's bank was flooded, records gone, and customers desperate for cash. With ATMs down and banks closed, restoring financial services became a lifeline for the community. Banks set up temporary locations in parking lots, powered by generators, and brought in cash from outside the disaster zone. Employees, many homeless themselves, processed transactions by hand. The focus shifted from business as usual to survival, offering payment deferrals and working with customers one-on-one. Compassion replaced standard procedures. The crisis redefined the relationship between banks and their communities. In chaos, trust and ingenuity kept hope alive. Banking became about helping people survive, not just managing money. In Katrina's aftermath, survival depended on the people themselves. Neighbors shared what little they had, forming work crews to clear debris and distribute supplies. Churches and civic groups became command centers, organizing volunteers and relief. The Cajun Navy, ordinary boaters, rescued thousands when official help was overwhelmed. Chivas Sweatman's Bank became a hub for relief, using its resources to coordinate aid and distribute supplies. Old rivalries vanished as businesses and individuals worked together. Adrienne Broussard saw competitors become collaborators, united by necessity. This spirit of solidarity fueled the exhausting work of recovery. The community's unity was the foundation for rebuilding. In the darkest days, the Gulf Coast's true character shone brightest. As shock faded, rebuilding began, and banks played a pivotal role. Chivas Sweatman's team handed out cash to known customers, often without verifying balances, trusting in their community. Adrienne Broussard's bank launched special recovery loans and met with customers to find creative solutions. Banks became partners in recovery, not just lenders. They helped customers navigate insurance and FEMA claims, offering resources and support. Banks invested directly in rebuilding schools, community centers, and infrastructure. Their commitment went beyond finance. It was about restoring the heart of the community. Compassionate service built lasting loyalty and trust. By investing in people and places, banks helped heal the Gulf Coast. Their actions sent a clear message. We're here for the long haul. Katrina's lessons reshaped disaster preparedness on the Gulf Coast. Chivas Sweatman's Bank now has backup data centers far inland, ensuring continuity no matter the storm. Adrienne Broussard's bank prioritizes employee safety, with systems for housing, childcare, and counseling after disasters. Supported employees are the backbone of crisis response. Banks now collaborate, sharing resources and conducting joint disaster drills. Mutual aid agreements ensure that if one bank is down, another steps in. Local leadership is empowered to make quick decisions, responding to real needs on the ground. The focus is on flexibility, compassion, and community. These changes are Katrina's most lasting legacy. The Gulf Coast is now more prepared and more united than ever. Katrina's lessons are now daily practice for Gulf Coast banks. Chivas Sweatman's Bank uses cloud-based systems, allowing rapid setup anywhere after a disaster. Adrienne Broussard's bank has pre-drafted disaster assistance packages, offering immediate relief to affected customers. New buildings are elevated and fortified, designed to withstand future storms. Critical infrastructure is protected, ensuring quick recovery. Leadership culture has shifted. Employees are encouraged to serve their communities beyond the bank. The health of the bank is tied to the health of the community. Katrina created a new generation of leaders committed to resilience. Banks are not just preparing for storms. They're building stronger communities every day. The Gulf Coast's future is shaped by the hard-won wisdom of its past. 20 years after Katrina, Chivas Sweatman sees not just scars, but strength and unity. The Gulf Coast has become a living testament to what can be achieved when people come together in the face of unimaginable adversity. He thanks everyone who stayed, rebuilt, and believed in the Gulf Coast's future. Their courage and determination have shaped a new chapter for these communities, inspiring hope for generations to come. Our greatest accomplishment is that we are still here, stronger than ever. The transformation is visible not just in the buildings, but in the renewed sense of belonging and pride that fills every street and home. Adrienne Broussard's message to the next generation: resilience is in our DNA. She reminds us that every challenge faced has only deepened our resolve and brought us closer together as a community. She urges us to remember Katrina's lessons: compassion, unity, and service. These values are the foundation upon which the Gulf Coast continues to rebuild and thrive, no matter what the future holds. The recovery is measured not just in buildings, but in the spirit of the people. Every smile, every reopened business, every celebration is proof of a community that refuses to be defined by tragedy. From New Orleans music to Pascagoula's shipyards, the Gulf Coast pulses with new energy. The culture, creativity, and hard work of its people are the heartbeat of this region's revival. Stories of survival and rebirth inspire us all. Each family, each survivor adds a new chapter to the ongoing story of hope and perseverance. On this anniversary, we honor the journey, remember the lost, and celebrate the heroes. Their sacrifices and bravery will never be forgotten, and their legacy lives on in every act of kindness. Katrina's story is not about a storm. It's about the unbreakable spirit of the Gulf Coast. It's about people who refuse to give up, who rebuilt not just their homes, but their lives and their dreams. It's a story of loss, love, and community. Through every hardship, the bonds between neighbors have only grown stronger, creating a legacy of togetherness. Even after the darkest night, the sun rises again on our beautiful coast. Each new day brings fresh hope and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The legacy of Katrina is hope, resilience, and a future built together. As we look ahead, we carry these lessons forward, determined to protect and cherish the Gulf Coast for generations yet to come.